Are you struggling to get more bookings? I've made no secret that I get over 90% of my clients through Google AdWords. It is hands down the most powerful advertising method I've come across. If you're serious about growing your business, Ryan and I personally created an AdWords course just for listeners. Visit courses.superboothers.com for more info.
Hello and welcome to Super Boothers. My name is Ryan.
And I'm Ismail.
I just did.
Let me guess.
Yes.
A fabulous, extravagant, fantastic event.
First of all, there was actually two flippin' amazing events that I did. And I mean, just the first one was just a ridiculous amount of money for a wedding. Which is the funny thing is the bride didn't care.
Is there such a thing as a ridiculous amount of money for a wedding? I don't know. I challenge that.
What do you mean?
There doesn't seem to be a ridiculous price for a wedding. People just spend as much as they want.
So that's part two of what we're going to talk about today. However, part one.
Sorry, I didn't get the agenda. My apologies.
No worries, because I'm making it up as I go along. Anyways, so the first event that I did was just this ridiculously fabulous wedding. And I mean, we had three very large floral chandeliers hanging from this massive ceiling. We had, $1,000 centerpieces, three of them on like every table. Like it was just an obscene amount of money. So I've noticed kind of two trends really happen. So whenever I first kind of came into the industry, I would say that about half of them the dad paid for or the family paid for, and the other half the couples paid for them. I will say that now 90% of weddings, the couples pay for the wedding.
Really?
Would you agree?
I haven't really thought about it, but that's actually really interesting because it wouldn't be what you expect, right? Because it seems like more people are living at home for longer. People are not as financially comfortable at a young age, so you think that they would rely on their parents more. So I'm just curious why that shift happened.
I will say this. I will say that parents most definitely contribute but for the most part, I will say that the trend that I have seen is brides and grooms, and grooms pay for the weddings themselves. It is more common for that to happen versus when I first started out in the industry, whenever it was kind of 50-50, like, the bride's parents would pay, like what traditional etiquette would say.
No,
But anyway,
I paid for my own wedding. I
see,
I kind of viewed that as a point of pride that I could do it all on my own, so I did it on my own. So I'm part of the statistic.
Well, you are. Thank you for the live illustration of what I'm trying to accomplish here. The father was like some big oil guy. They just spent a ridiculous amount of money. They shoved the photo booth in the back, as always, which I just think is just such a travesty. However, they did it. This was the one where the planner called me the day before, talking to me about setup time. I'm like, no, like this is what it is. I can't
Let
change
me
it at
ask
this
you,
point.
like you said, it was a travesty putting the photo booth somewhere in the back. With an event like that, with
Yeah.
all that money, event planners are probably running on everything. Do you even try to advise them otherwise, or do you just follow their order?
No. I have given up a long time ago. This may come new.
Even if it's better for
This may
them.
come to you as news. I'm a little bit of a controlling person.
No, stop.
No, stop. No, so I do like to take control a little bit. Whenever I'm a photo booth person, I am the hired help. You tell me where to go, that's where I will stay. I don't care if and this is the thing is if there's a planner involved, I'm not gonna about to step on anyone's toes. I'm not about to say
Yeah.
anything, probably because I know a little bit more than you, but nope, I'm not gonna say anything. That's just
I will say when there's planners involved, I am afraid of stepping over, like, or at least looking like I'm trying to step over their toes. If it's a situation where I'm speaking directly to the person hosting the party, or maybe the family of the bride or something like that, I'd feel more obligated to kind of say, "Hey guys, I've done this before many times, and it's better if you do it this way."
yeah. So I will say if it is going to be at a horrible, horrible, horrible spot, I will speak up and I will say something. If there's a planner involved, keep my mouth shut. That's where she told us to go. I'm so sorry. However, there are times where I have been with a planner that's not as experienced. And in that case, I will say something like, excuse me, you might want to put it over there because of XYZ and explain my reasoning as to why. So, however, with this planner, she was screaming at me on the phone
Oh no.
because, oh yeah, and I wasn't going to talk about this, but you know what? Here it comes. So sorry, sister. Funny enough, I have actually known this individual since I first started my career 15 years ago, and she called the office line. I pick up. Thank you for calling Urban Events. This is Ryan. How can I help you? Are you local? Local to where, ma'am? Seriously, I'm not even making this up. I said, local to where, ma'am? And she told the city. I said, yes, ma'am. I said, how can I help you? She starts unleashing on me. I'm a wedding planner, blah, 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 blah. I couldn't find your phone number, blah, blah. I mean, she starts screaming and she goes, my name is blah, 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 blah. I'm a wedding planner. And I said, oh, so-and-so, it's Ryan. Ryan? I said, yes, it's Ryan. There was a short pause and she goes, Ryan, I didn't know this was you. And then she continued to scream at me. You don't have your phone number on your website. Do you know who I am, sister?
Do
Seriously.
you know how many website audits I've done?
Do you know who the I am? I am so sorry. She continued to scream at me. I said, you can stop screaming at me now. How can I help you? Ugh, fix it. I want to say her name so bad, but I'm not. But anyways, I said, ma'am, the website, the phone number is on every page of the website at the bottom. I said, if you're on a phone, there's actually a little button that says call. There's she goes, you don't have your email in your contract. There's no phone number in your contract. Top right hand corner. So I don't know what page she was looking at, but everywhere I looked, there was contact information. So anyways, she continued, she stopped screaming. She goes, oh, well, I'm so sorry. And I just had a rough day and blah, blah. I'm sorry. I had a rough day too. You don't hear me screaming at you for screaming at me. I mean, it was just so interesting. So anyways, I had found out that she had done an NFL player's wedding and was really preoccupied with that one. And this wedding kind of went by the wayside. So she wasn't paying attention. So funny enough, she actually put a Facebook post the other day and she said that she emailed a DJ asking what the requirements were. She said 2 hours before, she goes, file this under you can't make this up. She said 2 hours before, he sends an email saying that he needs a table and a tablecloth. And I'm looking at myself, I'm like, you cannot procure a table and a tablecloth within 2 hours? I mean, this is not that, and I really didn't want to do this, but I mean, I just kind of got a little bit heated on the subject. If you're a wedding planner, just solve the problem. And the only reason why I can say this is because I've been one.
I mean, that's your job.
It is more than my job. It has been my livelihood. I've been doing weddings literally since I graduated kindergarten.
You know, it's funny. I wasn't prepared because this literally just happened about an hour ago to me. And I don't know what you can do about clients, whether they're planners or not, that just don't pay attention. So very shortly, what happened to me is that we had an event today, 6 to 8 p.m., right? The attendant gets there, and the attendant calls me. He's like, hey, what time's the event? 6 to 8 p.m. Well, the client's very upset. They said it's 8 to 10. I'm checking through all my stuff.
The contract
says 6 to 8. She's like, I'm going to grab the contract, and I'm going to be out here. I'm going to show you. Okay. You're wrong. Very Please upset.
Do. No.
She goes in. She grabs the contract. What does the contract say?
6 to 8.
And then she's like, never mind. And it bothers me so much because what can you do to prevent that? It's literally you put the time everywhere. You sign off on the time. We confirm the time with you. We talk about the time all the time. I don't know what you can do to avoid stupidity or just people not paying attention?
So this is I'm so glad you asked. So what I have is I send out again, a lot of stuff is automated. I will send out an automated confirmation 8 days out from the event and again 4 days out. That says here are the times that we have. This is what is going on. On there it says we will arrive 1 hour prior to setup unless it says otherwise on your contract.
I also have the same kind of reminders and notifications. I think sometimes some people just don't pay attention. Like she was convinced it was 8 to 10, even though that was not anywhere, even in the contract that she held and had ready to complain with. Like she had a
Yes.
printed contract that she signed.
That's the thing is you need to get signatures on all this stuff. Whenever a caterer has their BEO has final guarantee, which is the number of guests that they're confirming and that the caterer plans to have food for, all that stuff, times, all those details are signed off on. This is
Yeah.
something that should never be a surprise. But anyways, this wasn't what I wanted to discuss
But
today.
before you move on, I didn't want
Yes,
to turn
yes.
into an event session. I think the takeaway is I'm glad it was in the contract because
Sure.
as soon as she pulled that out and realized she was wrong, conversation ended. It turned into a very pleasant experience. So have everything dotted up and cross your I's, dot your T's, have everything written down and automated. It makes life a lot easier.
I don't think I've deleted an email since 92.
Yeah, there's no need to delete emails.
So anyways, at this like crazy wedding, we got shoved in the back corner. So I confirmed the time with the planner. I said, this is what I go, you don't need to give me anything. I will come with everything. And I guess the venue had some issues with the floor. It's a museum and they're very protective of the floor. So, okay, yeah, it's all covered with, rubber and cloth and nothing's touching the floor. You're fine. And they shoved us in the back corner. We took maybe a total of 8 photos the entire event. Someone figured out within the last 20 minutes that the photo booth existed. I will say about 100 people came running towards me the last 20 minutes of this event, hurtling. And the bride was like, I'm so sorry, blah, 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 blah. She's like, can we pay you more? And I'm like, at that time, normally I would say yes, but I was just kind of done. I just wanted to get out of there. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. We have another event at midnight. Where are we going to go? I'm going to bed.
I've got another event starting at 1 a.m. I've got to
Yes,
go.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We have a club downtown that needs the photo booth immediately. I'm so sorry. It's an emergency. No, so it turned into a great thing. I stopped printing. The bride didn't care. We ran in and took photos as fast as they can. And they turned it into like this big magical game. And you know what? It was fine. I just hate that we got shoved in the back corner. But you know what? What do I know? I've only been doing this my entire life.
There's a lot of profanity in this episode. Make sure
there's a lot of beeps. There's a lot of beeps. So anyways, on to the next event. So the next event, I did a reverse green screen.
This was cool. I did see that. That was very cool.
Yes. So what I did is I put a regular white backdrop. On the back end of the software, I put the green screen replacement. And what I did is I used a cloth green screen or a green screen blanket, if you will, a little invisibility cloak, and use that in front of the white background. And we really created some pretty awesome boomerangs.
How did people like it that they were there using it?
First of all, I booked 3 on the flippin' spot, like at full rack rate. Someone goes, can you go to Houston? Can you go to Dallas? Can you go to LA? Absolutely. Let's hop on a plane. Actually, no, the other one was Washington, D.C., not LA. I'm happy to hop on a plane for you with my little photo booth.
Why do you think people like it's really not that complicated? It's just it's basically a blanket, right? Why are people so drawn to it that is it just because it's so different than what they've seen? What do you think causes that?
No, I think that everyone is so used to, guess what this photo booth does? You take 3 pictures and 2 strips pop out. Isn't that so cool? I mean, no, like it takes a lot more to impress people. So, and again, it was a super, super, super simple setup. The software is something that literally everyone in this industry has access to. I just applied it in a different way.
Now, was there a theme that gave you this idea, or how did this come about? Like, why'd you do that?
Yes, I'm so glad. If you go back a couple episodes, it was the yes episode. Yes. So the client
which one?
Yes. So the client asked me, she goes, we're doing a globe party. I said, let me handle this. Let me do my thing. She gave me carte blanche. Funny enough, I showed her the sample whenever I first got set up, and she took one of the first photos. It was just so exciting because absolutely no one has done this before that they have seen. And what was great is that it was at an art museum. It was an art event.
It fits
They
perfectly.
were they were creating their own art. I mean, it was just amazing.
No, it fits the theme perfectly, and really, it wasn't like I said that complicated for you to put together. It's just the ability to, notice those things and actually do them.
For sure, for sure. So I was really excited about that one. But so the next part of what I wanted to discuss is there's a little TV show that I saw on TLC, the Learning Channel. And no, it's not My 600 Pound Life, even though I do watch that pretty often
I don't know what's going on right now, but please proceed.
while eating a tub of ice cream and Cheetos. Anyways, so this episode or this new TV series is called I Want That Wedding. And what they do is they take a newly engaged couple and they clearly have two different opinions on what their wedding budget should be. Clearly, the groom wants it to be lower. Clearly, the bride wants it to be higher. So their wedding planner takes them to three different price point weddings. And it's a great show. And I don't watch wedding shows. I never have. I I was offered a wedding show back in like 2004 and I turned it down. And I'm so glad I did. Um, it was, go ahead.
That that just seems like an opening for me to ask what happened there. What was that about?
Sure. So I actually got offered two wedding shows. One was Platinum Weddings. Another was Whose Wedding Is It Anyway, which was really popular, way back in the day. The producers came to me. I actually got Platinum Weddings first, and the client that I had at the time didn't want it to be on TV because they weren't being compensated. TV shows now, they'll absolutely compensate you. Then they really weren't, and the client was really private, which was fine. I mean, it was, I didn't care either way. Whose Wedding Anyway came along after, and it was the producers came to me with kind of a sleazy reality show kind of gimmick. They really wanted like conflict. They wanted, truthfully, what they came to me was they wanted one family who didn't agree with who their child was marrying, I guess. So with that one, I couldn't sell that to any of my clients, and I just didn't really want it. So another competitor in my city actually got it.
And why are you glad you didn't do it?
I first of all, I think the first wedding that I would have done that would have been filmed crashed and burned. I mean, crashed and burned. Like there was a thunderstorm, there was hail, it was freezing, there was like water coming up from underneath the tent. I mean, it was just a disaster. Like literally, like nothing that I did. It was just actual natural disaster. I don't know. I'm glad I didn't do it.
It reminds me of Gary Vee. He actually was talking about how he was offered a wine TV show
Yeah,
on TV, and he turned it down. And it was such a hard decision at the time because that's what he was known for was the wine library.
yeah.
It ended up being the best thing that he could have done because it allowed him to focus on other stuff.
I hope so. I hope that's what Super Boozers turns out to be. But I was really young back then. I mean, really, really young. I I don't know. um, I don't know how it would have turned out. I mean, it could have been a great thing. I think uh, the competitor that ended up getting it was on for like 3 or 4 seasons. And I mean, I never really paid attention. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure it would have been a great experience. I'm glad I didn't do it because I've learned so much more since then.
I mean, that's a great sign. I think I always want to be learning more. If I don't look back next year and think about how stupid I was right now, I
Yeah.
consider my life a failure. Like you should always be looking back and saying I didn't know anything back then. Otherwise, you're not growing.
So, anyways, that's kind of what that was about. So, on to this TV show. There was a wedding planner that is taking them to three different price point weddings: a $20,000, a $40,000, and a $65,000 wedding. Um, I think this, first of all, whenever I did planning, I would never take another client to another client's wedding. I just think that's inappropriate. Like, it just has like this wedding crasher vibe, I guess.
Can I guess when you get there, I want to guess which wedding option they picked.
Sure. What do you mean?
Like, I assume they're going to have to pick which price option they prefer.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Absolutely. So, they go to the first wedding, which ended up being the $20,000 one. There was a great venue. They had fried chicken, which kind of fit the theme. I mean, it was kind of awesome for the couple. They had a standard DJ. They did an ice sculpture and had an ice carver carving it live. So it had its touches. Then they went to the $65,000 wedding, which was, downtown rooftop, crazy floral budget. There was a suspended cake. They had like these little glow stick, thing for the bridal party whenever they went in for their first dances. Really what was impressive to me was the flower budget for this one, because that was a lot of money in flowers. And then the last wedding they went to was the $40,000 one, where they had an aerialist, they had a limited bar, it was on the Queen Mary. They really did a lot of cool touches. So they had to guess after which one was which. I believe it was the $65,000 wedding that did have a photo booth. And if anyone knows who was on the show, please let me know. And they had priced it out at $695. So this is the thing is, whenever I got first started in this industry, my Super Sweet 16 was kind of coming out. I thought that show was just great for our industry. It convinced clients to spend more. Keep in mind, this was before the market tanked. But no, they were just spending money left and right. I would have clients come to me and say, what cool thing can we do that hasn't been done yet? I haven't had that happen to me in a while. But it was just great, versus whose wedding is it anyway was really more, I think, geared towards, not necessarily the drama, but more things that can go wrong. And people kind of thriving off that versus, the industry of it, the spending money part of it. So what I love about this show is that it kind of, puts people into a mentality of, okay, well, this is actually what things cost.
It's funny how I feel like these shows reflect the reality of the time, right? So the economy's going great. Everyone's got money to blow. Super Sweet 16. You go into a crisis, everyone's trying to save money, and all these frugality and money-saving shows come out. So it's not that I blame the show. I just think the show reflects, the current environment that we're in.
Absolutely. So I really appreciated the show. I really enjoyed, everything that I guess a potential bride would learn from it.
So I haven't heard about that show.
Yeah, I think it just came out. I don't know, but I found it interesting. So anyways. So if you have seen I Want That Wedding, please let us know what you thought about it. Go to our Facebook group.
And if you want Ryan to star in his own wedding special, please let us know in the Facebook group. I'd love to see that.
This is the thing is, I'm really glad I have changed so much since then. Like back then, it was something I absolutely would have done. I think there's a reason why it didn't happen. And I'm really thankful for that. But anyway.
Yeah, we're here now together. Isn't that great?
Yeah. Lovely. Thank you so much for listening, guys. If you haven't already, check out our new e-course, Google AdWords. It is available at courses.superboothers.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.